So if you're on Twitter, it's apparently the end of the world because net neutrality was repealed, and now internet providers are going to charge you like up the ass. Now we're going to have to pay for Google and YouTube and pretty much all the things that we've been using since the internet has been created, right? And it's like this net neutrality was only put in place 2 years ago to begin with. So if it has not, if like 2 years ago, all these companies were not like throttling you and your, reception or whatever constantly, then what exactly was the need for this law? Now, I've seen some people bring up some examples, but a lot of the examples are just corporations fucking over other corporations, right? So why would I want to have a regulation where it diminishes competition among among businesses, right? Why would I want less competition? And like another thing that is really fishy about this, because I don't know everything about it per se, but why does Mark Zuckerberg, why does Netflix, why do all of the major corporations, the big monopolies that are already monopolies, why are they in support of this, right? Wouldn't they be completely against it, right? Doesn't that just make sense? If this hurts their bottom line, if this takes away their power in order to control the market, why would they be for it, right? Isn't that counterintuitive? Does that actually make sense to you? And this is why I think, it's probably good to repeal it, because most big corporations, companies, love regulations. They say they don't, but they actually love them. Regulations typically hurt, big, small businesses and stuff like this, the people who cannot absorb the costs of these regulations, right? So it's like, for example, McDonald's. If you raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour, they can handle it because they can just either automate easily, or they can hire the staff and they can increase their wages, right, and still make a profit. And this is actually be better for them in the long run, because a lot of their smaller competitors, mom and pop stores, cannot absorb those costs. If you raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour, now those mom and pop stores will have to fire one person, and over time they will lose their business, and the only business that will be left standing are the major corporations. So they like to pretend and say, oh no, we hate regulation or blah blah blah, but they love them. This is how they ensure their monopolies. This is how they keep their stranglehold on the market. And big governments and corporations are our best friends, right? This is what you got to remember. Like, the bigger the government, the more likely that they are going to be working with corporations, right? And like I said before, if Mark Zuckerberg, all these people are for this, then right then and there, you don't even really need to know anything about it, right? That it's probably bad, because no corporation, no company that would willingly give up power. Nobody's that nice, okay? Nobody. Not a fucking single person, okay? Especially in positions like these people are in. Absolutely nobody. So I really don't see how much is going to change, and if few people have to pay a little bit more than some other people, then that's the way it should go, because that's the way the free market should go, and you're going to have more innovation. Things are going to improve that much faster when not everything is done completely equally, right? Like if I have to pay, if I'm using 10 times more Netflix than you, I should probably be paying more than you, right? And if you're only using it once every week or something, then why should our rates be exactly the same or something like that? And a lot of these regulations are for Netflix, are for protecting these big companies. Like I said, that's why they're out in the front lines saying, hey, we support this, blah, 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 because they don't want competition. They don't want to compete against other companies. They don't want to have to bother doing all this shit. It's much easier to have the government come in, make some rules about this and that, and then it makes everybody follow the same shit. So then, the only people that can provide that good internet to that same quality are the people who already have a lot of money. So it doesn't even allow for smaller competitors to come in to the market, because it's like, oh, you can't throttle their connection or whatever, but it's like, hey, this is all we can provide at the moment, but us doing this, we're going to give you this, this, and that. It's a way for them to bargain and to figure things out on the free market. That's why, government intervention is just not good in anything, and it will fuck over pretty much anything that it is in. And a lot of the, free speech they're talking about right now does not exist anyways, right? Like they're already censoring people on Twitter, on all these different social media platforms, so it's not like we're really being protected by these things anyways. And on the free market, companies should have the right to ban people for whatever reason they fucking want, even if it's stupid, right? So that's why I'm really against, some people saying, oh, they should make internet a right and this and that. And it's like, I don't know, man. It's a slippery slope. As soon as you start making, things like this into a right, then it just, I don't see how it's going to necessarily work out, right? Like, the only rights that people should really have is the right to pursue whatever they want and right to, like, defend themselves, essentially, right? There is very other few rights that you do have, because all the rights that you say you do have, like healthcare, housing, all this shit requires you to force somebody else to get that right. Whereas defending yourself and pursuing whatever career and stuff you want does not infringe on anybody else's rights, right? But all this other shit that you say, oh, I have a right to this, I have a right to this, that requires people, humans, doing things to give you this right, right? So it's not, the only right you have is to defend yourself and a few other things like that. Very, very moderate things, right? Nothing too crazy like this. The internet, all these things work better on the free market. Their prices will go down, they'll become more efficient, and it'll be better for everybody, and everybody will have more access to the internet. It'll be better for people instead of worse than the way they're portraying it right now. Like, the world's gonna fucking end tomorrow because they repealed net neutrality. It's like that. I really doubt that. I don't think much is gonna change, and I think in 6 months, when a lot doesn't change, all these people are gonna look like idiots. And if a lot does change, then I'm going to look like the idiot. But we'll see. This just happened, and let's give it a few months to see what happens. But this is all I pretty much had to say. If you like my content, subscribe, and have a good day. See ya.